In many of my videos, I talk about how to do, or that we must do, shadow work as a preliminary step to awakening your Kundalini. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to actually go about doing it. There are a fair number of methods, and obviously Carl Jung is the one that's coined with shadow work. But of course, shadow work comes from a technique called feeding your demons, or chod. And so we're going to look at a way of doing this in a very simple and easy way. So everyone can start to release their shadows, to overcome them. This is a very profound form of shadow work, despite its simplicity. But this is the thing. For people that come and take trainings with me, they find every video, every tool, every technique they learn, they are actually surprisingly simple. Because in this life, the most effective things are simple. One of the most pleasant things we can do in life is go and watch a sunset or a sunrise. How simple is that? Yet it is so powerful. One of the best ways to recharge our battery is to go for a walk on the beach, or have a swim in the sea, or go for a walk in the forest. So simple, but yet so powerful. So how do we do this shadow work? How do we feed our demons? First of all, we have to recognize one of two things. We could be trying to work on a specific memory, that's fine. Or we could try and work on a collection of memories. Let's take, for example, you were bullied at school. Now, if you tried to do shadow work on each individual memory of every single time you were bullied, perhaps you were bullied for your whole childhood. How are you going to go through every single aspect of or memory of when you were bullied? That's just doesn't work, does it? And so whether we focus this on the concept of feeling the shadow of being bullied, or whether it's the shadow of fear, or whether it's the shadow of desire, or the egoic ideologies, the programs we have running in us, the three main ones. We can work them so simply, so powerfully, all the same way. What you have to do, sit quietly in a place you're not going to be disturbed. Now, this could take, for some people, it could take 30 seconds to a minute to do. For others, they may want half an hour, an hour. Some people, it may take longer. It just depends on the person and what you're releasing. The first time you do this with the first shadow, it may take longer. As you build up the practice, the other shadows you wish to release can be faster and faster and faster. The first thing we have to remember here is, and understand, is whilst we try to push something away, whilst we try to fight something, our ego holds on to it more. So this is why if we try and fight our fears, it doesn't have a high success rate. We must let them go. And we must also let go of any resistance we have to letting them go. The two things we have to let go of every time. Yet what is the whole principle of this? How is it so easy? So if you take the bullied as a child, or if you take the shadow of fear, very simply, allow yourself, close your eyes, allow yourself to focus on the particular shadow you wish to work on. You don't have to locate it in a specific place. You don't have to remember a specific memory. If it helps to solicit it, by all means do that, but you don't have to. And then very, very simply, all you're going to do is, once you're feeling it, so for example, the bullying or the fear, embody it. When you can really feel the fear inside you, or the bullying, perhaps it's the anger, the loathing, the dread, all those emotions starting to arise from that shadow. I want you to take the embodiment of the shadow and very simply put it in front of you, sit it on the floor or on a chair or on a stool in front of you. And just for a second, observe it. Understand you have a connection to it. If you have the skill of being able to feel, talk, hear something going on with the shadow, connect to it. Perhaps it has some questions for you. Perhaps you have some questions for it. Ask those questions, receive the answers, listen to the questions, give the answers. Now, as you're doing this part of you isn't your enemy. It is a demon, it is a shadow, which at the end of the day, demon and shadow mean the same thing. But you're going to treat it as a part of you because it is a part of you. And as it's a part of you, and as you know, you need to love yourself, then you must love this part of you too. How do I love the fear in me? How do I love that bully within me or the bullied child within me? Well, if it's the bullied child, take the role of the mother or the father. And hence, give the child, the bullied child, the suffering, that love, that motherly love, that parental love, that fatherly love. The love of a best friend, a concerned friend. Truly connect with it in a positive way. We can almost relate this in a way to some religious teachings. The one that springs to mind, the most famous one, is if someone slaps you on the cheek, turn and give them the other one. That's what this saying is talking about. Now, some people say, oh, well, it's about left hand and right hand and forehand and backhand. But at the end of the day, it's simply this. It just means give your love to this shadow, to this demon. Because ideally, what we're doing by giving our love to it, by giving it our acceptance, we are making peace with it, aren't we? And if we make peace, if we accept, if we love our shadows, those demons that are part of us, we can then very simply release them. So once we feel the time is right, we've sat as long as we need, we've asked as many questions as we need, we've got the answers. Then to this demon, to this shadow, whether it's from the point of best friend, mother, father, whatever it is, we then allow it to get up and treat it as though it is the child or the best friend, leaving on a journey. They're about to take a trip to the other side of the world. They're moving to the other side of the world and they're never coming back. They're going to become your long-lost friend. So this is the way you have to say goodbye to it. Treating them, loving them, respecting them, understanding they will be missed. So this way we make our peace with it and we can simply let it go, allow it to stand up and fade away. Now, if at this point we feel resistance to letting it go, we must let the resistance go. And how do we let the resistance go? By giving it even more love and affection, creating even more peace in the situation. And as we give that resistance love too, it can just get up and walk away. Once you've finished doing this and it's completely faded off away, You can then open your eyes once again, take a minute or two, and then very simply think to yourself, how do I feel about, for example, we talked about the bullying. How do I feel about how I would, when I was bullied at school? Has anything changed about how I felt about that? And if you've done this correctly, it will feel different. If it doesn't, go back and do it again. Now, if we take the example of the being bullied, the other stance we can also take here, the other part of us that is part of that situation, is being the victim, of not standing up to ourselves or to the others enough. So we can then take that part, take the victim out of us, repeat the process with the victim, and then allow the victim to release. So sometimes fear, we can just release simple fear. But if it's something like a case of bullying, we can release the situation, the embodiment of the bullying, but also the embodiment of the victim, because there are two demons within that shadow that we need to embrace and let go of. This is an extremely powerful process if you take the time to do the shadow work, the feeding the demons correctly. Understand that it's from a place of love we let things go, not from a place of fighting. When people feel they have entities attached to them, it's because they are holding on to them. We are so good at holding on to the negative. For example, you write a post on social media and you get 100 positive comments and one sad person writes a negative comment to you. You hold on to that negative comment. You give it more importance than all the positive ones. But by simply responding to that negativity with a feeling of love, perhaps parental love, it becomes insignificant. And you actually very quickly, instead of becoming angry at that comment, becoming frustrated with that comment, you very quickly just start to feel sorry for or pity the person that wrote that comment, because it's clear they are in a worse place than you are. Hope this helps. Go do your shadow work. Go feed your demons as one of the most important preliminary steps for Kundalini awakening. Remember to subscribe, write a comment, perhaps after doing this exercise. If you find it useful, share it with as many people as you know. Share this video so you don't have to explain it. Just say, hey, do this. It's amazing. And I will see you in another video.